Hey, everybody, welcome to today's show. I've got an exciting guest for you. We've got Juve Hernandez with Junga.us, and he's going to share his story of entrepreneurship as well as learning to use HighLevel and how he uses it in his business. Juve and I were just at a mastermind together. We had a great conversation, and I just wanted him to bring it here to the podcast to share with you because I'm telling you, really, really inspiring. So, Juve, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and actually asking me when we met. When we were at the event, there were several times that I wanted to introduce myself, and then we just met by coincidence. So we can share that later on. But thank you
Yeah,
very much.
of course. So, do me a favor if you would, and just give people a bit of a backstory about who you are and what Junga US is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Juve Hernandez. I am originally from Mexico, and I came here to Salt Lake City, Utah this is where we met, right?
Hmm.
About 25 years ago. And back then, I didn't have any background of anything. I used to be that kid that was kicked out of every school that he went to. Therefore, I didn't finish school, and I was pretty much a trouble kid.
You're a
Now,
troublemaker? You don't look
I
like a
was, I
troublemaker.
was, not anymore.
Okay,
Not anymore. So I don't take much time talking about myself, but please ask away.
sure.
Fast forward to 2025, or actually 2018, I founded this company that's called Junga.us, and we focus on med spas, plastic surgeons, and wellness clinics from Mexico. We are operating in Mexico. However, we're making the transition to capture more of the American market as well, because this is where I live. I live in
Yeah.
America.
So you started in 2018.
Correct.
Were you, I guess you didn't start out using HighLevel. And in fact, you shared a story with me offline about some of the things that you had to teach yourself and learn just to get started in this space. Do you mind sharing some of that?
No, not at all. And I hope that I get to inspire anybody that is listening that is or was in the same spot I was many, many years ago.
Yeah.
So, as I said, I came here to Salt Lake City, Utah about 25 years ago. And then I was 25 years old actually. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So, I started a business with an MLM a company. I'm not going to name the name. Nothing wrong with MLM. Actually, I learned a lot and I'm very thankful for that, but it just wasn't for me. And at around 2008, I decided to stop that. And in the meantime, in between, I was like, what am I going to do now? And I started looking in the internet and I said, you know what? I am going to do internet marketing, but I didn't know how to use computers. But previously, a few days earlier, since I had not much to do, with my day, I took one of those online IQ tests, and I
Yeah.
didn't know anything about internet technology. So I took these IQ tests, and I'm not saying that I'm smart, but I want to think so. But in
Sure.
that test, I scored very, very high. I
Yeah.
remember still 136. And then
Wow.
I started telling anybody and everybody, and they were like, it was one of those online IQ tests and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know anything. So I was like, yes, that's what it was. So that gave me the confidence. I was like, Juve, you are actually smart. And that's what I decided to believe.
Uh,
Therefore, let's go all in with internet marketing. It doesn't matter that you don't know how to use anything of technology, computers. I didn't even know how to use Microsoft Word, just to give you an
Wow.
idea. So I
Okay.
had to teach myself all of that. And nowadays, well, I have a company with my business partner Oscar Rosas. He is in Ciudad Juarez and he is in charge of sales right there. And we've been
Yeah.
working together since 2018, and the rest is history. We, like I said before, our niche is med spas, plastic surgeons, and starting from that moment in 2008 to where we are right now, and me starting to believe in myself that I was actually smart, I got a little choked up.
Yeah, that's great. You should. What were you, when you started out, did you start right out using HighLevel or were you using other softwares to deliver
N-
wins for your, or,
No, since I was teaching myself so many things
Mhm.
from 2008 to 2018, that was 10 years. I was just trying to learn as much as possible. And then COVID hit. But just before that, I decided to start working with restaurants because that is my background. For many, many years, I worked in the restaurant industry,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just obvious for me to start servicing that industry. And I believe you might know this person that taught me how to market, and his name is Matt Platt. Shout out to him. I consider him one of my main mentors, and he's an amazing person. So he taught me how to market for restaurants with ManyChat. Later on that year, he introduced me to HighLevel. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Signed up. I thought it was a really, really good platform. So I had to learn everything from the ground about everything about HighLevel from zero.
Yeah.
And now I'm enjoying some of those benefits of learning the platform, which is an amazing one. I love it.
Great. So you switched from whatever tools you were using before to deliver restaurants, wins to restaurants. Did you go to the med spa route before COVID, after you started using high level? How did that work?
Yeah, thank you very much for asking that. Well, when I started with high level, I didn't have a niche. I thought I wanted to continue with the restaurants, and
Mm-hmm.
until Alex Sklinsky, sorry for if I
Mm-hmm.
mispronounced it, him and I had a conversation, and I told him that I was servicing restaurants, and he told me get out of that niche because there's almost no money in there. And I
Right.
was actually leaving it because it was kind of hard to deal with restaurant owners. So all my respect to them because
Sure.
it's a restaurant. It's an industry that I really understand, and I know it's very hard for restaurant owners. But for me, it just wasn't working. So I decided to partner with my friend Oscar Rosas. And at the moment, he was living in El Paso, Texas, and he
Mm-hmm.
was going back and forth to Juarez. And then he ended up moving to Juarez. He realized that there's a lot of medical tourism in that city. And
Mm.
now it's very safe. We haven't had any problems and whatnot. But the niche actually, I'd like to say, chose us because that's what we started, the kind of customers that we started capturing. And
Yeah.
that's how we started.
Wow. Let me ask you, see, you told me about Matt helping you switch to high level. What was your first experience, or do you remember like when you started using high level? What was the experience like? Challenges, immediate wins? I mean, for a lot of people, it is challenges because it's such a daunting, awesome program.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Just to give you an idea, I consider myself a slow learner. So it took me about 6 months to actually have a very good idea of what high level was able to do at the moment,
Yeah.
2018, 2019. And I started learning everything. Luckily, my friend Oscar, he was able to sell to a big company, a logistics company that operates about 3,000 semi trucks in the southern part of the country. I'm talking about California, Texas, Florida, Arizona, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to short, yeah, a little parenthesis of how we
Sure.
started with this company. They created their own leads, right? Truck drivers. And that's a very finicky industry. And truck drivers, they're very finicky. If you don't catch them at the right time, you're not going to catch them ever again, just like any other lead, right?
Sure.
But this company at the moment, from the minute or the second they created that lead or a lead came into their system, it used to take them about 2 weeks to get to talk to them, to actually contact them. And we know as marketers that that's an eternity for a lead to
Right.
be contacted in 2 weeks later. So we were able to shorten that gap from 2 weeks to 2 minutes or even less with high level. And obviously that wowed them, and they've been our customers ever since. And they are the customer or the client that actually kept us afloat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do it. And over the years, we've been able to capture more clients, and it's been great. It's just been
Yeah.
so great for us.
That is great. So kind of like an anchor client that,
Mhm.
anchored your business. Now, have you leveraged them for testimonials and things like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. If you visit, actually, I don't think I have them on my website. But the reason why is because it's a logistics company,
Mm-hmm.
and our niche is the medical industry. So
Got
for
it.
that reason, we don't showcase it right there, but everybody in that area where we're operating knows this huge company. So whenever we mentioned it, they were like, "Oh, are you really with them?" And that gave us so much credibility, and that
Sure.
we were lucky that way. Right after that, we were able to get another client, and it was a plastic surgery clinic,
Hmm.
one of the oldest clinics in Juarez. So that was another client that gave us so much more credibility because they've been operating for more than 35 years, and everybody knows them in that area. So from then on, we were able to acquire as clients med spas, wellness clinics, and that's
Hmm.
our niche. Our niche chose us, and that's what we went for.
That is great. So, if you don't mind me sharing, or if you don't mind sharing, and it can be in round numbers, it doesn't have to be revenue or anything like that, but just like what kind of success have you seen in high level since you started?
Well, when I was working with restaurants, since I was just learning how to market for them, I think at the moment I was able to acquire about 12 or 14 clients,
Hmm.
restaurants. And then COVID hit, so everything went down. Since then, we've been able to acquire different kinds of clients,
Yeah.
like I mentioned before. And we started with like $3,000 a month, and then we will go to $5,000 a month, and then 8,000, and then 12,000, and we will go down to 8,000 again because we lost clients. Of course, we were learning,
Right.
and now, well, we're very close to $20,000 a month, which it may not be a lot
That,
for a lot
that's
of
a
the
great number. That would
exactly.
impact so many entrepreneurs
Mhm.
never achieve that number. Many of them just never even achieve 10,000 a month. But
Exactly.
the fact that you stick with it, the fact that you learn from it and made adjustments along the way, and just your tenacity through it, that's really what a lot of people need to hear. You can learn software and people learn at a different rate. Some people will learn high level in a few months. Some people it'll take them a year. But as long as they don't give up and they keep applying the things that they learn, they're going to get there. And so 20,000 a month is a great number and a great goal for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for mentioning that.
So, oh, I was going to say, so what's been the biggest impact of using high level in your business?
The biggest impact has been to be able to learn from very high level agencies like yours. At one point, I don't think I mentioned it, but I kind of hinted when we were riding on the same car, and you mentioned something about carbon fiber, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you used to build custom made bicycles, right?"
Custom
And I kind of
motorcycles.
hinted that
Custom motorcycles.
custom motorcycles. Yes, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, that's all right.
And that's one. The other one is I was able to learn so much more about how to market for my clients. I would say that the most important thing, the most important benefit for me is to be able to be in contact with like minded individuals and very high level individuals that I can learn from them.
Hmm.
At any moment, I can ask questions, and everybody in our community is very, very helpful and willing to go the extra mile to help other people. At least that's been my experience. And at
Yeah.
one point, I want to pay it forward so I can teach other people how to make some money with high level, right?
Well, this is a great transition because the next couple of questions I have are along that lines. Do you have a hack that you would want to share? Like, what's your favorite automation, workflow, or campaign? Or do you feel like there are any hidden gems that are underutilized features in the high level?
Excuse me. I think that there are no secrets in our world, right? Because, and I'm mentioning this because I've noticed that there's a lot of people that they say, I have to learn everything before I acquire my first client, right?
Right.
So there are no secrets. Just go for it and learn along the way, adjust along the way, which is what we did. And about a hack, excuse me, about a hack that I can share with you guys, maybe is that don't overcomplicate it. Focus on outcomes instead of features,
Hmm.
and try not to give too much to your clients in the beginning, in the sense that, high level has so many features,
Right.
so many benefits. But if you present that to your client or your prospect, to your prospect, you're going to overwhelm them, and they're not going
Mm.
to buy anything. And you're going to be frustrated, or whoever is listening to me, you're going to be frustrated.
Yeah.
So keep it simple. Keep it to like maybe one to 5 features that you can offer to someone in your local market and just start that way and then build from that. And another thing is that don't do any custom builds. Make sure that you have a good snapshot that you can replicate it with your next customer and then your next customer or client and so on and so forth. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits or hacks that I can share with people, which is very
I
well
love
known
it.
high-level community.
Yeah, that's great advice. Okay, so now we are going to go into rapid fire. We're going to ask you some questions. All right. So, favorite book or podcast?
Favorite book? That's a very tricky question because I'm so big into self-development. And the first one that comes to me is Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Read it, listen to it, study it, and make it part of your
Timeless.
life. Timeless, exactly. Think and Grow Rich is one of the best books that you can ever review or listen to or read. It has so many gems that they are timeless, like you say, because a lot of the concepts and principles that we're listening to nowadays, they are based on that book. And well, Napoleon Hill, I would say that a lot of people know it.
Yeah. And for those who don't, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, go check it out. You can get it on Amazon.
Go check it out. Go buy it. And I'm a huge fan of Dan Kennedy. Anything that Dan Kennedy produces, I'm there.
Okay. I love it. All right. Next question. What is your go-to high-level favorite feature?
It's called Text Back.
Okay.
I think that that brings a lot of benefit to our clients because many of the times the receptionist or the front desk is very busy talking to patients or customers, and many of the times they don't have time to answer every call. So when you implement that for them, they are wowed and they're like, I mean, you're going to have them for a long, long time if that's the case, right?
I love it. Okay. What's the biggest business mistake you've learned from?
The biggest business mistake is to believe that I had to learn everything before implementing. And the truth of the matter, I realized a few years ago, is that things don't have to be perfect, right? We are going to make mistakes. Even if you make those mistakes, go for it. Implement. Implementation is the base it's the foundation for everything that we're doing. So yes, review the information that you want to implement. For the love of God, please implement.
I love it.
It.
That is great. If you take only one thing from this show today, it's implement. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, what is one software that you can't live without in addition to HighLevel? Do you have one?
I don't, because I use HighLevel for everything. I use HighLevel for everything. So I would say that. Maybe WhatsApp, but because I operate in Mexico and South America, right? But I don't have a software that I can't live without because HighLevel has it all. And over the years, I've learned that keeping it simple with HighLevel is way better than complicating it or creating those super complex workflows. For me, it doesn't work that much. I've created those, but I've decided to go for simplicity and with what HighLevel gives me and has available for us, from courses to snapshots to workflows. Anything that HighLevel provides, I use it, and I just feel better because I don't have to come up with anything. I don't have to reinvent the wheel, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that is great. Well, Juve, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our community?
The one thing that I'd like to share with the community is, even though this is cliche, but believe that you can do it. And even if you don't believe, implement. And along the way, adjust and change. But yes, just go ahead and implement. I mean, I can't stress that enough. Just implementation is the key for me.
Well, thank you so much. This is very inspirational. Appreciate you sharing your story. Everyone, huge shout out to Juve for being with us and for all the success that you've had with Junga.us. Stay tuned. Well, subscribe if you would, so you can see us on our next show where we're going to interview another high-level rock star like Juve. Juve, thank you so much. Have an amazing,
thank you so very much.
Amazing rest of your week, the rest of your journey. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you on the next show.